Greetings. If you're the type of person that likes to listen to dating and relationships commentary from a random dude in a driveway with a little fire going in the background, you're not going to want to miss this one. Hope everybody's doing well out there. I'm doing great. It's about 64 degrees. It's warm. It's sunny. We had a nice little day pop up in the middle of January, well, the end of January, which is rare. So I figured I'd take advantage of it and I'd come out here and I'd shoot the shit with you guys. In today's video, I want to talk about cold approach. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with the term cold approach, it's synonymous with the term day game. And for those of you that aren't familiar with the term day game, this is essentially a concept, or I should say an activity, that involves a group of guys or maybe one single guy who is so lonely and so deprived of human interaction and has a complete lack of options with women. So he's decided to go out to shopping malls, parks, beaches, nightclubs, or sometimes even just walk down the street and approach random strangers with hopes of creating some sort of a relationship out of the deal. You know, maybe starting out by getting the phone number and, turning it into something else. Now, say what you will, say what you want to say about these guys, but if you were to ask them about this activity, they would tell you they're developing social skills, they're overcoming a fear of rejection, and they're playing a numbers game. They're increasing their chances of finding whatever it is they want to find. Now, if you were to ask the women that they're approaching how they feel about this, you'd get a wide range of responses. Some would say they appreciate it, they take it as a compliment, and they enjoy a man that's confident enough to, take initiative and approach and, put the moves on a woman. But then you'd have some women on the other side that, might reach for their can of pepper spray. Maybe they'll even report these guys to law enforcement. And by the way, that within that wide range, I've seen just about everything happen. But I suppose the direction that I want to go in this video is I want to go in a direction where, I'll just give my best insight to the guys that are out there that are thinking about doing this or that have been doing this. And this isn't really advice. This is just kind of me thinking out loud and sharing my experience. So if you find it useful or entertaining, then, apply it, or, maybe adopt a mindset similar to this if you'd like. If not, then keep doing what you're doing. I'm not going to tell you what you should or should not do. Anyways, just to give you an example of what it looks like to the general public when you're a guy that is cold approaching. Because, by the way, I should have mentioned this. Sometimes these guys that cold approach will set quotas for themselves where they'll go out in public and they'll say, well, I want to approach at least 50 women in one night or 50 women in one day. So it's kind of like a door-to-door salesman trying to sell vacuums, and might be a little bit strange, but it is what it is. Now, as I was saying, just to give you an example of what it looks like to the general public when you're somebody that does this, I can name a few guys, I could name a few guys at the gym I was just at 2 hours ago that have this sort of a mindset, and this is kind of their approach on dating and relationships. I know guys that will approach one woman, a week later they're approaching another woman. They might be a little bit consistent with that one woman, but a week later it's a different woman. A week after that it's another woman, and before you know it, they've approached every woman in the gym, and they really got no results. And their reputation is shot because of it, because women view them as, kind of a low-value type of guy, low impulse control, low standards, and typically just a guy that is desperately looking for human interaction. And most women tend to be repulsed by that. So, that's just sort of an example of what you may look like if you're a guy that attempts to do this. Now, not all. Some guys may approach one woman, be successful, and start a relationship. Other men may approach 50 women and go 0 for 50. So just keep that in mind. If you're somebody that's, in a setting where people are actually observing what you're doing and they're aware of what you're doing, you may look like a little bit of a jackass if you're approaching a whole bunch of women. Just saying. Now, that's just what I see from, certain guys, and it's very easy to tell when a guy has that sort of a mentality towards dating. Now, if you are that type of guy, you're a guy that's so lonely and so deprived of, female attention or affection from the opposite sex, or the same sex if that's what you're into, I think you should evaluate yourself a little bit, and you do have to understand when you objectively look at yourself or even compare yourself to others, which usually isn't a good idea, but in this situation maybe it is. But there are a lot of men out there that don't ever approach any women, but they still have a lot of options with women. And why is this taking place? Why are you approaching all these women and you have no options? Why are other men just laid back and kind of just attracting women? What's going on, and how do you correct this? How do you become one of those guys? Now, sure, your physical appearance matters and your genetics matter, and there's certain things that you can't change, but there's a lot of other factors that also matter. Obviously, I'm not going to blow your mind with this one, but, I think this is pretty standard and pretty obvious, but women are attracted to men that take good care of their bodies. If you have a good, healthy, muscular physique, you'll definitely increase your chances. This might be mind-blowing as well, but women like men with money. But it goes further than just money. Women like men who have established themselves in a career, who have a good head on their shoulders, who are driven, who are accomplishing goals and, shall we say, leveling up in life. Women like men who are climbing dominance hierarchies. And by the way, it doesn't matter if you're a business executive, a rock star, or even a gang member. If you're climbing the top of that dominance hierarchy, you're going to have options with women. Guaranteed. And, the lead singer of the band gets the girls. The lead director in the office gets the girls. The top-ranking gang member, he's got 10 babies' mothers or whatever, but he's going to have a lot of options, and that's a fact. These dominance hierarchies do play a role, and these are things that are somewhat manageable by you if you take the right pathways. So that's what it comes down to. The first step is becoming a man that women are interested in. Because, look, if no women are interested in you, so you're just constantly approaching them and trying to spark something up and make something happen, it's a pretty clear indicator. If you look at yourself objectively, that might be the issue. So once you correct that issue, now you're playing a different ball game, right? And on one end of the spectrum, you have certain guys who, they think they're such high-value alpha males that they never have to approach a woman. They never have to show a woman affection. They never have to show a woman validation. And they still get women. But the problem with this is these guys are perceived as narcissistic douchebag assholes that women will go for, women will sleep with, women will date, but women will typically grow tired of and divorce and leave because nobody wants to put up with somebody that's just an asshole, right? A jackass, a narcissist. So on one end of the high value, interesting man spectrum, you've got that guy. And then on the other end, you've got the, you could perceive him as like the player type, right? And he's approaching every woman he possibly can, and he's hooking up with as many women as he possibly can. And a lot of women will grow tired of that as well. It's kind of it's like you have high value, but you're wasting it by having low standards and no loyalty to anybody. You're not a faithful guy, and women will grow tired of that, as I said. So what you want to do is you want to find some sort of balance, something in the middle, right? Once you've established yourself as a guy that women find interesting, you don't want to be the asshole that thinks he's too good for all the women, and you don't want to be the guy that just hooks up with all of them, right? So you do have to find some balance, and it's not about cold approaching. I don't think that's really going to benefit you too much in this situation. It's more about identifying the women that you tend to have some sort of a mutual attraction or mutual connection or something in common with. And I will tell you this, when a woman's interested in you and she's attracted to you, it shows. It only takes about a second, and you can tell by the way she looks at you. You can tell by her body language. Maybe you're at the gym and she's putting herself in your proximity. She wants to be close to you. And, it's very easy to tell. And if the feeling is mutual, you can just kind of let things happen naturally. You strike up a conversation, and it's going to be easy. You don't have to impress somebody that's attracted to you. You don't have to put on a show for somebody that's genuinely interested in you. And once you develop that very simple skill, that people skill, it'll be very easy for you. And the ball can start bouncing your way in the proverbial game of life. In the proverbial game of dating, I should say. And then you can kind of be that guy that just seems to get good results. That guy that maybe approached one woman and you went 1 for 1. I don't think any guy wants to be that guy that approached 50 women and went 1 for 50. Because, as I said, you got to look at yourself objectively. And think of it like this. Imagine you're on a date with a woman and she says, "What is it you liked about me? When you approached me, what was it you found attractive about me? Why was I the one that you wanted to approach?" Because that's a pretty common question. Women ask questions like that a lot. And if you gave her an honest answer, I'm an honest man, I don't lie. And I don't think any man should ever have to lie. And if you're a guy that was doing all that cold approaching, your honest answer would be, "Well, to be honest with you, I approached 50 women that day, and all the other ones rejected me. And you're the one that said yes." Now, taking a step back and thinking of it that way, is that something you would be proud of? Is that a life that you would be proud of? Is that a response that you would be proud of? I don't think any man would say that he would be proud of that. Versus, if you become that guy that women are interested in, and as I said, looks do play a role, but there's a lot of things that you have control over that you can change, and you can become a semi-interesting guy, a semi-attractive guy. And that guy, on a date with a woman, his response can be something like, well, whatever, I don't have to come up with anything. It can be a literally authentic response. Whatever it is, whatever comes to his mind, whatever the exact thing was that he found attractive about her, maybe the way she carries herself, maybe it was her body, her physique, maybe it was her cute smile, maybe it was the way they looked at each other and the magnetic feeling that they had, that just drew them towards each other. But he can come up with an authentic and real answer that's going to have meaning, and he can say it proudly. He doesn't have to be ashamed of himself. So, that's my thoughts on cold approach. Now, again, I'm just sharing my thoughts. I'm thinking out loud. I'm not necessarily trying to give you advice here. If you perceive this as something that you can apply to your life, then go for it. If you're a guy that just likes to go out there and approach as many women as possible, then go for it. I'm not going to tell you what you should or should not do. I'm just going to tell you, how I see things from my perspective. And intersexual dynamics aren't quite as complicated as people make them out to be. I think women are very simple, men are very simple. When there's a mutual attraction, it's almost difficult to not escalate things. When you're both attracted to each other and you're both single, man, you're going to be magnetic. You're just going to be drawn towards each other. That's just as simple as it is. And you don't have to impress somebody that likes you. But I can say one thing. I can say that, I guess the end of the spectrum that I'm on there is a lot of times in my life, I've just been too damn busy to approach a woman. I'll see a woman and I find her attractive. And I can tell it's a mutual deal. But maybe I'm busy working out or I'm busy doing something. And I just don't have enough time to make that move. And, a lot of times I'll look back and be like, you know what, I really missed out on that one. That might have been a great opportunity. So I don't want you to be so passive. If you do take this advice, I don't want you to be so passive that you're just not making any type of moves. But at the same time, I don't want you to be so desperate that you're making a fool out of yourself, if that makes sense. Anyways, I suppose I'll go ahead and end this one right here, but hopefully this video was somewhat informative, insightful, or entertaining, any of the above. Go ahead and shut this one off, but yeah, that's about it for today, guys. Until next time, see ya.